Hi, YouTube. Welcome to the Squiggly Wall of Death episode. It's part 13 of Silent Hill 2 with the Therapist. I would very briefly like to thank you for making it this far into the playthrough. I realized that the last episode was quite heavy. I do hope that you took care of yourself in whatever way you needed to, if you did need to do that. And I'm glad that you've now pushed forward into part 13, as we have continued to have some very deep conversations about things that we might not otherwise have the ability to talk about. So, grateful that you care about what I have to say about this game. As always, big shout out to Konami. They sent me a code for this game. I'm very appreciative of it. And if you want to pick it up and play it on your own, by all means do so. Do leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Come hang out with us live sometime. Seems fitting that on part 13 we're staring at this creepy-ass wall. So, let's get into it. I see a hole there. Also, I should also say, I realized that in parts 11 and 12 we had an issue with audio that should be fixed now. For whatever reason, my soundboard had a noise gate that got added to the game when I don't know why. Anyway, I fixed it. So, do apologize for that. We should also be back at high quality. For those who don't know, actually on my recordings of part 11 and 12, my dumbass accidentally dragged this little overlay thing that's up in the corner, like into the forefront of the frame, and it would have driven you crazy if I would have posted those. So, I know the last two episodes weren't as high of quality as you are accustomed to, and it's because of me. So, that is also fixed. So, yeah. Hopefully all is good going forward. You know what? I'm just not going to go walk through that. It just doesn't seem like the thing. We're just in the pits right now. Also, I'm going to pre-apologize for a cough. I have some slight throat irritation. I'm going to do my best to fight through it. Bear with me. I'll try to mute myself whenever I can, but sometimes it sneaks up on me. I feel fine. Just have a cough. Oh, okay. We're going to keep descending. You know, a lot of stairs that go down. Climbing back up is going to suck.
Maria?
What?
Maria! I thought that thing killed you. Are you hurt?
Not at all, silly.
But the thing... It stabbed you. There was blood everywhere.
Stabbed me? What do you mean?
It chased us to the elevator and then...
James, what are you talking about?
Just before. Don't you remember?
James? Honey? Did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
You said you took everything. But you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
So you are Maria.
I am. If you want me to be.
All I want from you is an answer.
Doesn't matter who I am. I am here for you, James. See? I'm real. Don't you want to touch me?
I don't know.
Well, if you happen to make up your mind, I'll be waiting.
I'll find some way to... I'll come back, I promise.
Didn't see that coming. Woo. Okay. Ah. Oh my God, where do I even start? Holy shit. I like know where I want to go, but I got to figure out how I get you there. This game has been a real test of my articulation skills, by the way. My whole goal with these streams is to always take very complex information and try to disseminate it into something that's palatable to the masses, and this game really loves to just test me on that. So, Maria is okay. Something that gets talked about a lot in psychology, particularly in abnormal psychology, but it's talked about, you know, across the board, is the concept of reality. What's real? And we have this kind of general spin on the idea of reality that if people are fully in touch with it, they're better off. But unfortunately, the tension between objective and subjective is really complicated and blurry, and reality is something that our ability to attend to is limited quite literally by biology. Take, for example, somebody who is blind versus somebody who has vision. And you put a vase in front of them. To a person who can see, they may see that vase, and that may be enough for them to say that vase is real. But if you don't tell both people that a vase was set on the table, and it doesn't make any noise when you do it, is the vase real to the blind person? Is it real to the blind person unless they engage one of their other senses? Or unless perhaps they're told that a vase is there and they believe it. All right. So even if that person who's blind walks up to it and is handed the vase and touches it, the reality of what that vase is different than what the reality of that vase is to the person who can see. Simply because the brain's processing of that object in the environment is different based on what's available to it. So our brain chemistry, to an extent, is shaped by nurture, but is also shaped by genetics and nature. And it is quite fascinating what happens to people when you change parts of their brain, because you can really screw with a person if you screw with their brain. So, why do I say this? Say this because, to bring it back to the psychology of it, if somebody believes that something is real, is it real? In an objective sense, if a person says, I see a hyena sitting on the floor, and 100 people standing next to them say, I don't see a hyena, is that person's perception of a hyena on the floor not real? Don't know. Because none of us are capable of getting into the brain of another human. Classic example of this as well is, do we all see the same colors? Is the way that I see blue the same way that you see blue? It's impossible to know that. So that's where the subjective becomes a very important piece of what's happening here. So when Maria shows back up and says, I'm real, and the subtext of that being, I'm real if you decide that I'm real, I am who you decide me to be, there is truth to that. Maria is real insofar as James engages with her, he sees her, he feels her, but does he process it via his senses as being, like, is that enough for him to say she's real? Or does he rely on nurture, which would be a conceptual knowledge of death, and does he trust his eyes and his ears and the blood on his coat when she was stabbed in front of him? Because now he's having a very dissonant experience. He saw that. We watched that happen. And now here she is sitting in a jail cell at the bottom of the pit of hell, in a hospital bed no less, and says, Are you sure, James? Been here the whole time. I'm real if you want me to be. And now we have a real close analog to what it would be like to experience a hallucination. If it's a hallucination, because we don't know if she's real. She touched him. We saw her. Is that real? Or do we assimilate that in as James is just kind of going crazy here and she's not here? Really intense stuff. Now, that is all context for what I am going to now say is a hypothesis about her existence. Maria shows up in the absence of Mary. James seems, well, not even, okay. James has slightly committed to the idea that his wife is dead. But by virtue of coming to Silent Hill, James is attending to some degree of dissonance, to be fair to him, and denial, to be judgmental toward him, about her demise. He believes by showing up here that he's going to find Mary. He continues to not find Mary, which potentially means that the more he doesn't see Mary, the more he has to attend to the fact that her death is real, and that to whatever extent he was involved in her death is not something that he can deny, because he continues to get reinforcement around the fact that she doesn't exist, because he came to Silent Hill, and if there was ever a place she was going to be, she's not here. So what happens? Well, as we talked about throughout the early parts of the playthrough, when Maria showed up, he draws upon an object of Mary, an object that over time he colored with fantasy. So this is not Mary as she was. This is Mary as an amalgam of what she was and of what James wanted her to be, or wished that she was, either throughout the relationship or at a various point in the relationship when she was no longer available to him. So this is the object he carried with him in order to keep himself company because he didn't want to fully embrace the idea that she's gone completely. So we get this, like, Maria is literally a manifestation of him straddling the line. Well, we watched Maria die to the pyramid dude, which means that we have spent the last couple episodes alone. Well, what does that do? As James continues to just go through jail, labyrinth, sees other people, sees Angela, sees Eddie. Well, now we're back to, oh my God, am I alone? Oh my God, is me being alone the consequences of my own actions? I don't know if I can tolerate being alone. Boom, Maria pops up. Internalized object. There you are. Internalized object, probably being consumed to some extent with guilt, who has become somewhat manipulative toward him because he's trying to figure out whether he wants to actually acknowledge her as being real or not. Which, by the way, if he acknowledges that Maria is real and kind of what he wants her to be, then that also acknowledges the reality that Mary was not necessarily what he wanted her to be, and that may be devastating for him to think about, given the fact that Mary is no longer with him because he has a degree of emotional connection to Mary. So it's like, do I connect with this thing that is good enough that I could very much believe is real because I get to engage with some level of reality around that? Where Maria essentially becomes, and I promise I'm not saying this as a means to shame anybody who does this, I'm using this as a very real example. Does Maria become the lifelike sex doll that James carries around with him throughout his life because of the relational trauma that he has? And this is like a safe taste of reality that I can have full control over. Like, does she become that? This is a template through which I can make it be whatever I want it to be, but it doesn't quite make me whole in a way that the original thing that I didn't have full control over was. And that's really the complex nature of just being in relationships as human, is other people don't get to be exactly what you want them to be. A huge part of abuse, as we talked about partially in the last episode, comes from people trying to control other people and make them be what they want them to be. But humans aren't that. In some ways, that's what makes them attractive, is I am engaging with an autonomous human, not with something that I have full engagement over. But for James, not having full engagement, not having full control over his wife's life meant she died. So my hypothesis here is that Maria is not here because Maria wants to show up. Maria is here because James is grappling with the version of reality he's engaging with around his circumstances. Maria is somewhat safe, but also not safe because Maria is a reminder of a reality that he doesn't quite seem to want to fully engage with. Brutal. So I also believe, in sum here, that Maria, I think, represents doubt. I believe that Maria represents James's doubt in his commitment to his relationship, in his own sense of attractiveness toward another person, doubt in his ability to show up in a particular way, doubt in his ability to control his environment. She represents all of the what ifs and doubts that existed around his reality. And sometimes that is more comforting than nothing at all, because what James chooses to believe is real matters a great deal right now. Does James choose to believe, is his reality, my wife is dead? Do I acknowledge whatever involvement I had in that, if any? Is that become reality? What is the story I craft about myself around this right now? If Maria can come back, can Mary come back? Jinx. I see you, chat. Which again, denial, doubt. Yet safety. We seek the other thing, attachment perspective. I mean, I could go a million directions on this. Attachment. We seek physical proximity. Attachment theory dictates that you seek physical proximity to your attachment figures in times of distress. I would say that James is under an immense amount of distress right now. So internally, he seeks proximity to an internalized object, which again is not a complete version of his wife. It's not the autonomous, fully realized version of his wife because she's dead. He's now seeking proximity to his version that he carries. And to what extent does that contrast with the real Mary? To what extent it may also be that James literally cannot conjure Mary up because James doesn't understand the wholeness of who Mary is. He can only go so far. So that dissonance that we experience when Maria's around is a result of that. It's my mom died, and when I sit at her gravesite and try to imagine my mom here with me, I don't have the ability to bring my whole mom here. I only have the ability to bring the mom that I had a limited understanding of through my own subjective experience. And that feels weird to me because I wish that my whole mom was here. Same concept. Jesus. It does remind me to some extent, seeing her in a cell, it reminds me of like an Inception when Cobb sees Molly in like it kind of traps her in her apartment. She's dangerous and he doesn't want her. What is this? Whoa. Oh, dude, that's... Ha ha ha. This is... Wow. All right. So... Oh, I can turn it different ways. Whoa-wee. Okay. Okay. Okay, where are we? Oh, baby. Oh, baby. This is gonna be, this is gonna be a trip. I love it. I love it. Alright, so we did that one. All right. Where are we now? Go through the green door with more rot. Alright, back in another apartment complex, it would seem. We got bugs. Y'all can hear the ambient noise and stuff, right? It's not gating out anymore. Okay, good. Because I know how badly you want to hear all these cockroaches. Metallic thudding. Is that our boy? Is that our boy? And more cage and bed imagery. So that, you know, I think it's at this point pretty obvious that James perceived Mary's bed to be a cell. I mean, I don't think it's any accident that there was a bed inside that cell when we met with Maria, too. Like, it's a very... That repeating imagery is pretty clear. Before we take that down, though, I'm going to do some exploring. No items. This sounds very Pyramid Dude. What the hell? What the hell? Can I crawl under there? Whoa. Oh, it's that thing again. Oh, it's that thing. You're a dick. Gotta be able to crawl into that, right? No? There's multiple? Oh, man. God. Oh my God, that one legitimately got me. So dark. sushi's fresh tonight. Fresh off the boat, still wiggling around. Yeah, get in there, James. Attaboy. That. Fire starter lighter fuel. Lighter gas. Alright. We're gonna have to burn that thing? Oh, I wonder if that's the area I was trying to climb in. Okay, you can't get out there. Gods. Grotesque. Alright. Come back at me, thingy on the ground. Okay, nothing there. That's the direction we already went. God, I'm like massively straining my eyes because of how dark this is. Whoa. Alright, where are you at? Oh my god, it's even darker in here. The door I came in? Yes. Man, I'm only down to 57 bullets. Holy shit. Oh, some light. Oh my god. Oh, this place is just awful. Oh god. Alright. Bed split in half. Oh my god. Probably how we leave. Let's go check out here. Why not? Stick your hand in there, dude. Yeah, come on, James. I mean, you stick your hand in everything now. It's worked every time. A lighter wick. Okay. We're gonna have to burn. Have to burn something. Howdy. Game does a really good job making you not know where the hell you are. Like, I've got a pretty good sense of direction. What the hell? Buddy. What we got here? Oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your office work. Key. Good. Projects. Annual revenues to statewide prices. Okay, good. We're doing some real interesting stuff over here, huh? I don't know that OSHA's gonna love you having so many things plugged into one outlet, but this is already way above my pay grade. All right, we back. Oh, we're back in this one. All right. Go, James, go. Go, James, go. All right. Iron key opens the bathroom. Oh, boy. Sure, why not? Why not? It's just a big bathtub of tea. You're gonna have to go real fast, James. Or are we gonna have to cool it off somehow? Okay, we're gonna have to cool it off. Why do I keep coming back to the icky stuff? Because this whole game is icky stuff. Why is it boiling? Because James's wife loved when the shower and bathtub were scalding hot. Anytime he'd try to join her, he'd try to turn it down just a little bit to make it, you know, a little bit more available to him, and she wasn't having any of it. So this is a nice recollection of all the times that he tried to shower with his wife in the crazy-ass hot water that, for whatever reason, his wife and ex-girlfriends had a higher tolerance for than him. It just brings back that memory. That's all. I wouldn't know anything about that. Wouldn't know anything about that. That's all speculation. That's not inductive on my part at all. Water flowing. Okay. Unless Mary looked like a lobster when she got out of the bed. or get out of the tub or the shower. Wasn't good enough. Wasn't clean. There we go. That Zippo will still totally work. Oh, it's just a pool of blood. Just, ugh. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and combine these things. Fully functioning Zippo. Get after it. James doesn't seem to care about risking his personal safety for whatever it is he's trying to explore here. All right, we just jumping down? Hell yeah. Get in there, James. Take the plunge, buddy. You got nowhere else to go. Follow that bloody bed down. All right. Oh, and we're back. Okay. And now we got to go up there. Yeah, this is... At this point, if I have the choice, I have no intention of going back to visit Maria. I think Maria represents an unhealthy path for James at this point. So I'm not going to keep revisiting my doubt. I think James needs to be with himself here. I think James needs to process on his own rather than engaging with an unhealthy internalized object. Okay, interesting. What would it look like in the real world if somebody grieving like James kept visiting whatever their version of Maria is? It would look like Well, it depends. It would likely look like rumination, probably some over-personalization, engagement with like the abstract rather than the concrete. You probably would see it come out in some form of like denial or articulation of dissonance between a person's like physical environment in front of them and their psychological environment. You might see a person indulge their thoughts and their insecurities, their anxieties, their predeterminations, their cognitive distortions, instead of focusing on things that they can control in their immediate environment. Perhaps even using those things as an excuse not to do things that they need to do. I mean, there's any number of ways that it could manifest itself. That's what comes to mind off the top of my head. We seek comfort of our internalized objects, sometimes not even consciously. It's like sometimes this shit happens. I mean, it can come out in the form of like dreaming about particular people or things. It can come out in terms of like intrusive thoughts about a person or things. Oftentimes it comes out as intrusive thoughts or dreams or whatever about our idealized version of those things, rather than that we use with our current psyche instead of our past psyche in order to make sense of. So there's all sorts of stuff that happens around that. It's not always like an intentional thing. Sometimes there is some intrusiveness to it, and that can be pretty distressing. Sometimes makes it seem like it's something that you have to attend to, even if you don't necessarily have to. Oh, it's interesting that there's repeat imagery around these 3 doors. Okay. Oh, good. More of you. Oh, we're back in the prison. If I had to guess about like what the purpose of this space is, from James's psychological reflection standpoint, this is the labyrinth of the complexity of really getting into the nitty-gritty of your shit. This is dealing with the incompleteness of memory, the over-representation of certain aspects of things that cut across the nuanced representation of it. This is James having to like make certain decisions, determine what is or isn't real for him, parse out what is fantasy versus what's real versus what he wants versus what he needs, dealing with things that he may not want to deal with and deciding whether he wants to push forward through it or ignore it all completely. I mean, this is like the heart and the crux of what like deep therapy in some ways would be like. Is it people often think that if you're getting into your shit, it's this nice, clean, you find these things, and it's just, they're sitting right there, and it's just a matter of unlocking it in a particular way. And if you unlock it and you look at it, you'll feel better about it. And that's not how this works, man. The human psyche is messy. Your subjective experience is messy. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just do your best to articulate instead of articulate something perfectly. This area is inarticulate. It's articulate, but it's inarticulate. It's confusing. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's free association to an extent with some level of connection between various concepts. Like, this is what it's like to go through the depths of stuff, because we don't have perfect recollection of things. We are a slave to our subjective reality in a lot of ways, as much as we may want to be objective. Oftentimes you'll find a lot of tension just in relationships and engagements when people try to make the subjective objective. I prefer this game with the original soundtrack. Means the game is better with the original soundtrack. I mean, that's a leap that I'm not even really trying to say that tongue in cheek. It's a very relevant example here. Is like, as soon as we try to say that, like, our subjective experience is the objective truth, it creates tension and problems because of the subjectivity of everybody else. I may subjectively believe that this experience is better without the soundtrack. Another person may believe the opposite, but I'm not going to state this game in general is better without it. I'm just going to say, for me, I prefer it that way. Right? So when we try to force some objectivity on people, it causes problems as well. So I think what we're seeing here is the subjective experience of James and its incompleteness and how messy and dark and gritty it is. And that it has certain symbols that he doesn't even fully understand because maybe his brain registered it without his conscientiousness. Some of it maybe is constructed by him. Some of it is probably constructed by him and he doesn't even realize that he constructed it. Maria, for example. He may not really realize that he constructed Maria. He believes that the presence of Maria is outside of him. And maybe it is, but it's a lot of real deep realizations. What is yours to take accountability for? What isn't? What do you see versus what does another person see? What do you choose to hold on to? What do you choose to let go of? How do you box things into certain representation? I have no way to know that, Gray. You'd have to ask her. Whoa, we both whiffed. Oh man, this lighting is so good. just as an aside, I brought it up as an example. I have zero interest in the conversation about the soundtrack, so we can go ahead and knock that off in chat. Whether you are pro or anti, I don't care. I'm just using that as an example to illustrate a point. It was the first one that popped into my mind. The bug is like the one of the few things I just have like no hypothesis for. Man. Where are you taking me, Spidey? What about this thing's habitat or high ceilings? And there's a million of them. Never just be one. Travel in packs. Burning through a lot of bullets on these assholes. Alright. The hell? Oh. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that's the area I came from. Oh. Back down. cage imagery. Oh, shit. Oh, man, these things have gotten nastier. Small key. Oh, hey, while I navigate this labyrinth, I just want to say I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for taking time out of your day, your night, whatever it may be, whether you're watching these as they immediately come out or if you're years down the line. Thank you for caring at all about what I have to say about this game. It means a lot. Oh, okay, that's right. It's locked now, so now we gotta use a key. Oh yeah, I didn't even go in here. Come on, James, get in there. Oh, there's something in the way. Handcuffed gate. Oh, I gotta go back over there. Okay. Got to go back over there. Oh my lord, James. What are we doing, bud? back up this ladder over here. Oh, okay, there we go. That's good. Turn this, I guess. All right. I can only assume that the noise that these make comes from their buttholes, right? Like, there's not really another area where air would leave the sack other than maybe, like, the bullet holes. Just saying. I mean, it would suggest that there's air in there that's released. Box. That's definitely not OSHA approved over there. There's so much tension in this. I really appreciate the way that they were able to cultivate just environmental tension. I mean, that's Pyramid Guy for sure. Gotta be. What I love is that he doesn't really show up very often. He just looms, and you know he's there, and that in and of itself is unsettling. Like, is it more unsettling to know he's there and not address him head on, or to address him head on? No items. Okay. Reminder to chat, spoiler free. If you say something that even remotely seems to be spoilerish, your comment will be removed. And to the person whose comment I just removed, you've now been warned. You're not a name I recognize, so tread lightly. Alright, good. Now I have this kind of mapped in my mind. We also have a map which is nice. Although, if I'm being honest, I kind of wish we didn't have the map. I get why it's included. Makes total sense from like an accessibility standpoint, and this would drive people crazy if they didn't know where they were going. But I do kind of like that, like the idea of you like don't get the map. Unless you have James's hand drawing it. Oh boy. All right. Oh, there he is. Look at that. Wouldn't you know it? At some point, he's going to turn around and come from this way. Yep, there he is. Hey, dude. You're spooky. Oh, God. Okay. Go. 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 Go, James. Go. 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 Hey, idiot. What's up, dude? Sucks when you can't get me. Dick. I see you following me around, Guilt. I see you. I know. I know what's up. Going back through here because I want to see the imagery again. Oh, Jesus, maybe I don't want to see the image. Oh my God, that is a... James, what did you do, bud? I don't... Okay. I don't think it's any accident that we just saw him and that in the same zone. That's about as explicit as it gets to me, man. She's like kind of half zipped up in a body bag, dead on a bed in a cell with her mouth covered, her eyes shut. What does James have a guilt narrative around? And it all leads to our boy was involved in his wife's demise, and he is likely questioning whether that was a good idea. Maybe he wasn't even of sound mind and body when it happened. Kind of want to go back down there. I don't. There was that one other angle that I didn't check. A wire cutter. Okay, cool. Hey, dickwad, I'm over here. The hell? Really? Oh, that was a lucky dodge. Oh, okay, that was not so great. I want to know what's up here. Go, 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 go. If I turn around and he climbed this ladder, okay. Whole world ahead of us. It's a black picture. Okay. But that's cool. We got a collectible out of it. Alright. Back into the pit of hell. Yeah. Yeah. Go. God damn it. Just keep going, James. Let's go. Let's get a move on. Come on, buddy. Come look at me one more time. Look at me one more time. Unless Pyramid Guy's gone and it's Mouth Dude. Or it's both. Oh my god, yeah, there you go. Take your shot of Jack. All right, so we've got the wire cutters. That's good, I guess. Oh wait, this isn't the way I want to go. Oh, no. Go this way. What do the bugs symbolize? I don't know. I do not know. Other than just they're things you associate often with, I mean, I guess with like rot and decay. But I don't know. Alright. Interesting. What is the way out of here?
Yeah, the ambient noise hearing him down there is really something. Alright. I think this where I think it is. Okay, cool. Alright. Oh, Jesus. Oh, shoot. Okay, so I gotta go back down there. All right, Jamesy boy. Okay, this is fine. Oh my God. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. I gotta go down. Ladder number 5. Ladder number 5 is... through here. Holy shit. Alright, so we're gonna go out, and then we're gonna go around to the left, and then we're gonna go find those wires. Alright. Okay.
I completely forgot about that fence. Pyramid guy, dudeski, woodski got me all rustled. As will happen. You get so enveloped in your own guilt, you may not think straight. Go ahead, dive down, bud. Oh, now we gotta go down there. Jeez Louise. Done the cube twice. Who knows how many times we're gonna have to do this. We're just gonna be here for the rest of our lives. This is the only game I'm ever gonna stream ever again. It just goes on infinitely, forever and ever. Not that one. No, definitely not that one. There we go. It shows you the symbol. They make it a little easier that way. Alright. I just realized that. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe this isn't it. This does not appear to be it. Oh, wrong pyramid upside down. That one. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I was looking at the wrong looking at the wrong hole. Silly me. All right, it would stand to reason that we go through the red door here. Yep, here we go. This is great. This is super fun. This is super enjoyable. Even better without your flashlight on, huh? Just kidding. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. The hell is the purpose of breaking that wall? Somebody's rummaging around in there. Makia tea.
Vice biscuits. Wonder if these are things that Maria ate. Butter cakes. Pound cake. Get the goddamn shotgun out, James. Okay. This is great. I love this. We are quite literally running a gauntlet right now. Go, find them all. Ooh, baby. All right. This looks to be a similar room, but more decayed than the last. Bed's not as gross, but... Alright. Break me down more. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Get it down to the raw materials. Shake the very core of your sense of self, James. Rewrite those narratives, big guy. You gotta break it down before you can build it back up. Not necessarily, but sometimes. Oh boy. This thing is not killable as far as I know, so this is gonna be interesting. Find out what happens when this timer gets done ticking. Oh, unless we have to find the ones that are above ground. Come on, James. Come on, legs, where are you at? Thought there was a timer there. All the veneers stripped. Just raw walls. And we're on the other side of the squirmy thing. That right. Okay. Oh shit. And away we go. Come on, James. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Yeah. Come on, buddy. Swear to God, if I just like walk outside, I'm just like in Silent Hill at the bowling alley. 208. Oh shit.
Marie?
Let her go. Let her go. It's not what you think she is.
Mary.
Maria doesn't need to live there. Remember, Maria's an idea. She's an idea that felt real. But just because she felt real doesn't mean she is. She is doubt. She is a constructed reality. And one that James, I think, is realizing he doesn't really need. She's not helpful. that object is maybe comforting at first glance, but the more you keep it around, the more it makes you doubt yourself. The more it makes you believe that maybe this is what you wanted, that your constructed reality was more important than the actual reality, which means you're playing the wrong cards. Maybe you have a straight, but you thought you were playing a flush. So I'm we get seduced by our objects, fantasies, ideals, sometimes to a point where it distracts us from taking accountability for what matters to us and what we can control. The part of this that I find to be, I guess, somewhat unsettling is that James sees Maria dead and then immediately says Mary, as if he's going to try to make an effort to go find her. So I that part I'm a little stumped by. I would be curious to know what his intention was behind saying that. But I mean, ultimately, we survived all of that without Maria. We didn't need to go back to our attachment figure every single time we went through a new labyrinth and were distressed by it. Like, yes, attachment figures are important, but there are times where the desire for attachment, some would maybe even say the need for attachment, can override the, well, can be a distraction from our ability to see ourselves as autonomously able to address our issues. Like, as a child, yeah, you seek proximity to like a caregiver in the form of a parent or a guardian or whatnot, because there are things as a child you don't have the ability to exert any kind of control or force on like you can when you're an adult. And we carry that sometimes into adulthood in the way that we orient ourselves to the environment. James doesn't need a physical manifestation of Mary in the form of an object, in this case, to maintain a memory of her. He doesn't need the fantasy in order to know that she existed and mattered to him. And so my hope would be that maybe in saying Mary, he's hoping to try to move himself closer to connecting post-mortem to the wife that he had and not the one that he wished he had or idealized or objectified in the times that he was distressed by that relationship. I mean, I told you guys I wasn't going to go back and check on her. So, and maybe had I gone back and checked on her, I would have seen something attacking her and I would have been able to save her. But I ultimately believe that we don't need this part of James in order for James to do the work to work through whatever happened. We don't need a perceived reality. We don't need to indulge the doubt. We don't need to be seduced by what could have been, by our own conjuring. We can instead try to work with the reality that that was presented to us insofar as we engage with it as reality. So we leave Maria be, and who knows? Maybe she'll reincarnate again. I mean, God, we saw her die the first time. She showed up again. Maybe she dies here and she shows up again. I don't know. But I think James's initial distress is something that all of us experience when there's a part of us that we realize we need to let go of, when there's narratives or ideas or idealizations or what ifs. that we look at and we go, I don't really want to let go of you, because if I let go of you, I got to do some real work. We have that moment of like, oh. Sometimes you got to look at it, watch it go, and then intentionally turn away from it and walk your path. Rather than focusing on what you wish you had, work on creating what you can. So that's what we're going to do. Maybe.
What the hell?
That Excalibur? Yeah, James, you're the butcher. It was you all along. Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, man. Beautiful. I mean... Always been you. You don't have to carry it. Or you gotta work with it. You know, you carry it. Use it. Use it to push forward rather than stay behind. Oh, I mean, come on. The symbolism of this is great. Use it to push forward, and then drop it to climb out. That's... I don't drop F-bombs very often. That's fucking killer. That's awesome. That is one of the most beautiful, concrete pieces of imagery around working through your shit that I have ever experienced in any medium ever. That is... I have goosebumps. Well freaking done. Standing ovation. Like, that is... You grab it, you acknowledge it, you use it to push through and to push forward, and then you drop it to climb out. Stunning. Stunning. And then we're at a gravesite. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Miriam K. Trader. Or Miriam K. Trader. Wait a minute. This felon drank one last bottle of ale before he was executed and laid here to his eternal rest. Walter Sullivan. Oh, let's put some smile. You know, I don't know if this is directed at James, but I have to believe it is. It can, when you, oh, okay, how do I talk about this without going on forever? There is a fascinating, so at the time of me filming this playthrough, I have been a therapist for over 12 years, including my years in grad school. And over the last 12 years, I have had the privilege of working with many, many people, both directly as a therapist and valently as like a supervisor and a consultant and a teacher. And something that has, people sometimes ask me things like, in being a therapist, what kind of things surprise you? What stands out to you? What are things you've learned that you might not have otherwise had access to? And there's lots of stuff, but one of them, which I think is salient here, is that there is this fascinating phenomenon. It doesn't happen with everybody, but it happens with a lot more people than you would think. Maybe even some folks who are watching this video right now. There's a fascinating phenomenon where people have pasts. People have made certain choices. People find themselves in certain circumstances that they hate. Sometimes it's a consequence of their own actions. Sometimes it's the consequence of other people's actions. Regardless, there's a sense of sometimes like misery, depression, angst, pain associated with it. And many would think that that's something that people readily want to get rid of. That you would want to find a way to get rid of your trauma, get rid of the grip that your family of origin experience has on you, get rid of the circumstances that are the consequence of yours and others in your life's actions. And you'd want to let go of nasty, intrusive thoughts and beliefs about yourself. And the reality is, for a lot of people, it ain't that easy. For some people, it becomes part of who you are. You weave it, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously, into the fabric of who you believe you are as a person. And as awful as it is, as much as you might hate it, you know what it is. You know how it feels. You know what it looks like. You've known how to survive it. Survival is the ultimate reinforcement mechanism. You've made it to X point in your life. Despite all of it, you have survived it. And sometimes doing the intensely difficult work required to move in a direction that you believe you want to move in, but maybe aren't as prepared for as you think you are, includes challenging that. Certainly includes holding the people in your life accountable that facilitated the environment you're in, absolutely. But then doing the really hard work of asking yourself, what are the ways in which I continue to stitch that into who I am? What are the ways in which I rely on that as an explanation and sometimes an excuse for my perpetuation, for the choices that continue to box me into something that I may not actually be as boxed into as I think. Sometimes it can feel like a betrayal or like you are a traitor to your own self by trying to work through your shit. And that's hard. And it requires you, to some extent, do this very scary, difficult work where James jumps into a pit that he cannot see the bottom of in the hope that it takes him somewhere that he wants to go. And this whole game so far has been a massive metaphor, I think, for having to take accountability, having to deal with the depths, the messiness of your shit that you carry, the unfairness of some circumstances, the way in which you have controlled things in a way that may have actually contributed to your own sense of distress. and really asking yourself, what do I need to let go of, ignore, change, think about, reprocess, do differently in order to actually move toward where I want to go. I actually have to stare down the barrel of some really freaking hard work that I don't want to do, but I know I need to do in order to get where I want to go. Over my years as a therapist, I have developed an immense sense of empathy for that. And also, amidst the empathy for that, there is a moment, I think, for every single person where you have to ask yourself, am I willing to actually change? Am I willing to betray what I think I am in order to become what I want to be? And can I sit alone in my thoughts knowing that it's me facilitating my own crab in a bucket? This isn't Miriam calling James a traitor. This is a part of James calling himself a traitor. It's not easy. It's not. And also, it's on you to do it. James, to the extent that he can, is doing it. And I admire that. No matter what he did. I mean, if he killed his wife, that's, you know, that'll come back to get him from an accountability standpoint. Totally understandable. But even if that's the case, he's still doing some work, and we can all learn from that. Angela Orozco, I have to wonder if that is the Angelo that we've been talking to. Oh, Eddie Dombrowski, there we go. Okay. And James Sunderland, there we go. Well, I've arrived at the death of my narratives. Time for something new. One more jump, James. See you next time. Thank you very much, friends, for taking the time. I am so glad that you care about what I have to say. And I am, honored that so many of you are willing to watch this. You know, those of you that those of you that have played this game before or watched many streams of it, thanks for giving mine a shot. Those of you that are maybe experiencing this for the first time with me, I appreciate that as well. More than anything, I just appreciate you being here. So if you enjoyed this episode, do leave a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, come hang out with us sometime on Twitch, follow the links in the description. This is good stuff. Really enjoying it. Big shout out to Konami for making the game and then sending it to me. If you are binging, I will see you right here in the next episode. If you're waiting for the next one to come out, I'll get it out to you as soon as I can. I appreciate you. You matter. And I will see you in the next one.